It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Gents and ladies, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, it's time to trade. Let's start your brains like high-speed trains. Storm these games like hurricanes. It's time to save this herd this days. Put on your cape and learn the phrase. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Alright, so before I dive into some of the setups I'm watching, I just want to quickly go over Bitcoin, just from a macro zoomed out perspective, just so everyone kind of knows why I'm more bullish than I would be bearish over the coming weeks to months. To me, Bitcoin's holding some pretty good structure, where back in April, it put in its its high, then it's retraced pretty heavily between June and July and May, June, July, put in a low. Obviously, from that point, it was able to push and put in a new all-time high back in November, around Thanksgiving. And then most recently, it's putting in what looks like a higher low, which just from a macro perspective zoomed out, that's good structure. It's the definition of an uptrend. You're continually putting in higher lows and higher highs. So that's kind of the outlook on Bitcoin. We're currently testing the bottom of this middle zone I have indicated here. I'm hoping that it can hold as support before we push higher. It previously broke out of this large falling wedge. And as you'll learn on my channel, when something breaks out of a falling wedge, what we're looking for at that point is for it to put in a new higher high first, just on smaller time frames. So what I mean by that is, this was the last high while it was in the wedge. It was able to put in a higher high, which to me is bullish. And so now we're just looking to see if this low either gets reconfirmed and does what we call a double bottom, or even more bullish, can it hold support here or soon and put in a higher low. Here's another chart we're just going to briefly dive into. I have a video I will link in the description below that goes over Bitcoin dominance. That way you can understand it more fully. But I do want to include it quickly each day. So for now, if you don't really understand what it is, just know that anytime Bitcoin dominance is trending higher, that's not good for altcoins. You'll have to watch the video to understand a bit more whether that's good or bad for Bitcoin itself. But as far as altcoins go, it's more or less never good when it's going up, and always good when it's going down. So in this case, it just broke out of a falling wedge recently after putting in what looks like a double bottom down here near a support zone. So at the moment, this isn't looking good for altcoins in the short term. This is just a 30-minute chart, and I'm just watching to see how it interacts when it gets up here to this previous zone of resistance, which you can see here it's interacted with on multiple occasions. So we'll just keep you posted on that. So next, I just want to go over two large cap setups, or mid to large caps. A lot of this channel I'll focus on smaller cap coins, just because that's the majority of what I trade. But I always like to kind of have a large cap that I'm trading at the same time, just because they are a little bit less risky, of course. And from a liquidity point, they're easier to get into and out of with less risk. The risk management is it's much easier on these bigger coins than it is on the smaller coins, you'll find as you get into the space. But here's a coin for EOS or EOS. I really like to focus on coins with news. So in some other episodes, I'll go over how I find all this news and kind of how you trade the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. So anyway, up here on the top, I posted on my chart the upcoming news for EOS. This is a 8-hour chart, sorry. So it was in this large downtrend that it recently broke out of, and it looks like it's trying to confirm. I always like to see that after it breaks out of a downtrend like that, or I can even draw the other side of this and make it a falling wedge, we're looking for either a double bottom, something down here, or we're looking for a higher low, which we may be getting as we speak if Bitcoin were to bounce. So I'm just keeping an eye on this. If you want to pause the screen and kind of watch the levels I'm looking for. One thing I'm a huge fan of is trying to spot scenarios where price action is mirroring or kind of copying what it's done in the past, and that just looks like textbook here on EGLD. Once again, I've got some news I've posted up here on the top right of the chart, so there is a catalyst for why I think EGLD could see some upside if Bitcoin cooperates. And if you look back here, price action from June, it had a downtrend that it broke out of. It was able to then confirm a higher low, which is something I'm always looking for. And then I've indicated over here that recent price action kind of looks like it's doing the same thing. It was in a downtrend right here, and then it recently broke out. And, we have this low here, and if it could just confirm somewhere between, around here, we'd be looking at the same thing that happened back here, a higher low. At that point, previously, after it confirmed that, it ran up another 600%. Now, I'm not saying I expect that, but you can clearly see that would be very bullish for EGLD if it could confirm a higher low here and begin a uptrend now and break its previous downtrend. So keep an eye on that. Pause the screen, take a screenshot of this chart. Now here's my first mid or small cap. You know what? Let's go ahead and quickly go to CoinGecko.com, which is kind of one of my go-to sites to kind of see information on a coin. And I'm going to type in GLCH. It's glitch protocol. I actually just want to see what the market cap is because I don't actually know. Okay, so the market cap for this one's only 31 million. Usually anything 80 million and below or 100 million and below is definitely considered a small cap. These coins move a lot faster, so they are higher risk, higher reward, but I just wanted to check that real quick to see how small the cap it actually was. Looks like with some of this big pullbacks we've had recently that it's a pretty darn small cap. All right, so now we're back over on the glitch protocol or GLCH chart. Again, you can pause the screen and take a screenshot of it to kind of follow the levels I'm watching, and we'll continually keep you updated as the next couple of days as far as what glitch does. But this is a daily chart, and again, this is just one that looks bullish to me. It was in a downtrend here, which is indicated by my white line. And then also it was simultaneously kind of in a sideways falling wedge. I'm tracking both, but what I'm looking for here is a potential inverse head and shoulders, which is just a pattern that I trade. You'd have the left shoulder here, here's the head, and then what it's trying to confirm over here at near support is the right shoulder. So what I'm looking for is for it to break out of this little wedge, and then, of course, at that point, potentially push higher. Again, kind of like EGLD, I didn't draw it on this chart, but it was previously in a downtrend similar to that, and it was able to break out and, go on this crazy run that it did here. All right, so I won't focus too much on the chart itself over here. This is actually charts.cointrader.pro. It's a site that I like to use to get a little more data on some coins. Often when you're on TradingView and you're looking at, the chart for a coin on, say, KuCoin or Binance or whatever it is, it may not have all of the data, dating back to when the coin launched. And sometimes if you go to CoinTrader, you can get a little more history. So this is, the history for glitch going all the way back to January of 21, so last year, beginning of the year last year. But I'm going to double click, get my indicator up down here, my RSI, and then I'm going to double click on that because I want to focus on the RSI for a minute. I'm a big fan of mirroring patterns or seeing things that look the same in the past, and and then it kind of looks like it's copying it, and gives me the idea that it could potentially do it again. It's done it before, why not again, right? So what I'm looking for here is I'll pull up my paintbrush. Previously, if you look back here, it was in a bit of a falling wedge on the RSI, broke to the upside, found some resistance in this area along here, and then it retraced, but it was able to put in a higher low at that point, and basically it made what we call, as far as patterns go, a cup and handle on the RSI, and then it broke to the upside and eventually pushed higher. Well, it's kind of doing the same thing over here now. You've got this little cup, it hit the same resistance level, it broke down, as you can see by this falling wedge, and right now it looks like it's confirming this green level I've indicated here as support, and looking like it wants to push higher. If you zoom back out to the regular chart, we'll go back over here. Basically, on that RSI, this clear back here was where it broke out of that first cup and handle on the RSI, and then you had this crazy, move to the upside from like here to here of about 760%. Again, I'm not expecting that exact move out of glitch, but just from the indicators and just the way price action looks right now, it looks very bullish. So, and the last one I want to go over that I am bullish on is AIOZ. Now, one thing you will learn on my channel, at least from the beginning, is I do not know fundamentals. I am definitely a TA guy looking at charts all day, but one of my goals of this channel is to learn fundamentals. So you'll notice that I don't talk a lot about anything other than maybe the news coming up. Over time, hopefully I will learn a lot more. Well, not hopefully, I just will. I demand that of myself. And I think it'll be fun as a channel that we grow together and learn these things if you don't know either. But for now, this chart, whenever I say something's looking bullish, it's just from a TA or technical analysis side of things, because I do not know fundamentals, and I have no problem being just forward with you from the get-go on that. So again, this is a coin, a small cap coin that I've posted the news. It has mainnet launch. I've learned that mainnets are an important thing within the crypto space fundamentally. So a lot of times that could be a catalyst for price action to go to the upside. And that's coming at the end of March. Just like a lot of my other charts, I focus a lot on things that are at the bottom of patterns. And so this was in a large downtrend, dating back to, November. So that was when Bitcoin topped actually around Thanksgiving. And it's not broken out of it yet, but it's showing signs of a double bottom. So it had this little small falling wedge here that it broke to the upside of. and now it's doing the same thing again. So this one I'm just watching for it to break out of this yellow trend line here, and then I'll be looking like I always am for it to that point. Let's pull up the paintbrush. I'll be looking for it to break to the upside, hopefully put in a higher high than this high, so something like up here, and then I would want to enter either on the potential one more visit to this support, or hopefully, more bullishly, a higher low. So something where it breaks out of here, is able to confirm this zone, and then push up. This right here would be your entry. So I want to let you guys know I am 200, whichever way the zeros go, % on board with charting coins you guys are watching, giving you my opinion from a TA perspective, not a fundamental, but a TA perspective on how the charts look, bullish, bearish, etc. So feel free to leave in the comments below any coins that you're watching or that you'd like me to take a look at. Otherwise, each day I'm just going to kind of update you on the coins I'm watching, 3 or 4 setups, how they're progressing, and so on and so forth. And that is all for today. Thank you for sticking around and watching TA with MK. My name is MK, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and thank you. It's TA.